Now we are talking about our next chapter, that is collection of data. Collection of data, whenever we have to collect the data, statistical inquiry. What is the meaning of statistical inquiry? An investigation of a topic by any agency wherein relevant quantitative information is collected. From any agency where quantitative information is collected, that is known as statistical inquiry. So, collection of data is a first step for the statistical investigation. When first of all we have to collect the data. So, collection of data is the first step for the statistical investigation. Now, what are the sources of collecting the data? There are two types of source. One is an internal source and second is an external source. What is the meaning of internal source? Internal source means when data is collected from its report and the record. Whenever we have to collect the data from the report and the record, that is called internal source. For example, a company publishes annual report on profit and loss, total sale, wage, all these things. So this data is based on the report and the record. This is known as internal source. And external source means when data is collected from outside the organization. For example, DTS, transport company, Delhi Transport Company, whatever the rules is followed by the Delhi company, private transport companies also apply these rules. So, external source means when the data is collected from the outside of the organization. So, external sources divide again into two parts. One is a primary data and second is a secondary data. How we can collect primary data? We are having so many methods for collecting the primary data. The first method is direct personal investigation. Second is indirect oral investigation. Third is information from correspondence. Fourth is telephonic interview. Fifth is mailed questionnaire method. Sixth is questionnaire filled by the enumerator. And secondary data, there are two types, published and the unpublished data. Both primary data and secondary data, different methods we have to discuss one by one. Now, what is the meaning of primary data? Primary data are those data which is collected by the investigator themselves or which is originally collected by the investigator. That is known as primary data, and secondary data which is collected by the other person and we are using the data, that is known as the secondary data. Now, what is the meaning of primary data and the secondary data? The primary data which is collected for the first time by the investigator for some specific purpose, that is called the primary data. And this data is the original data which is collected by the investigator first time. So, it is also known as first hand information. That's why we are called, this information is a first hand. For example, population census conducted by the government. It requires more time to collecting the data. Same as secondary data. Secondary data which are not directly collected but rather obtained from the published and the unpublished source. It is not collected directly. It is obtained from the published and the unpublished source. This data is not original because already this data is used by another person. So that this is also known as a second hand information. For example, National Account Statistics is published by SCO, Central Statistical Organization. it requires less time for collecting the data. Same data may be a primary data or the secondary data. So what is the basic difference between the primary data and the secondary data? The difference is only of a degree. When one person collects the data, that is known as a primary data. Same data, when another person is used this data, that is known as the secondary data. So what is the difference between the primary data and the secondary data? What do you mean by the primary data and the secondary data? Now, this is the first method for collecting the primary data, that is direct personal investigation. Under the direct personal investigation, investigator collect the data by having direct contact with the informant. Where this method is suitable? When detailed information has to be collected, when area of investigation is limited, when inquiry should be confidential, when maximum degree of accuracy is required, and when originality is required, then this method will be suitable. Now, here are some merits of a direct personal investigation. First is originality. Under the personal investigation, data should be original. Second is reliable and accurate. Here, investigator himself collect the data, so the data is accurate and reliable. Flexibility. Investigator collect the data himself. He can change the question according to the informant. Uniformity. Here, whenever the investigator collect the data, there will be a uniformity. It means the data which is collected by the investigator, that will be the same. Other information. If other information is required, then investigator collect the other information from the respondent also. This method is economically, because that is collected by the investigator themselves only. No need to appoint any other person. Suitable for all type of questions. This method is suitable for all types of question. If you want to open-end question, yes/no question, or different type of question, you can ask from the respondent. So these are the merits of direct personal investigation. But if there are some merits of any method, there are some demerits of that method also. Now, which is the demerits of direct personal investigation? That is not suitable for wide area, because investigator himself collect the data, so it is not possible for the investigator. He has to go at a wide area. So in wide area it is not possible. Expensive and time consuming. This method is a time consuming because investigator himself collect the data. No person is appointed for that. So it's a time consuming. Personal prejudice. Personal bias. If there is a personal bias of the investigator with the respondent, then the result will be wrong. Trained personnel. The investigator should be trained person. If he cannot ask the question properly, then the result will be wrong. But whenever we have to collect the data with a direct personal investigation, some precautions should be required in case of direct personal investigation. First, no personal bias should be used by the investigator. First precaution is personal bias should not be used by the investigator. Secondly, investigators should be well versed with the statistical technique. Investigator directly knows about the statistical technique. So this method is suitable. It means direct personal. What are the suitability of direct personal investigation? merits, demerits, and which precautions are required for the direct personal investigation. Second method is indirect oral investigation. Indirect, as name clear that indirect oral investigation means we cannot ask the question from the person, we have to ask the question from the third party. The investigator approach third party who are in the position of information about the subject of inquiry. So, where this method is suitable, when concerned information unable to give information due to their ignorance. When the area of investigation is large, then this method is suitable. When secret information about the informant has to be gathered. When we want to get the secret information about the informant, so we will ask from the third party about the respondent. Need expert opinion. There are some merits of this method. One is wide coverage area. This method is suitable for the wide coverage area. Second is this method is economically and less expensive. Free from bias. Here investigator is free from bias from the respondent. Expert opinion is taken here. Demerits, if there is some merits, there is some demerits also. Indirect information. Here we have to collect the indirect information, so sometimes information may be wrong. Lack of accuracy. Here is investigator not directly contact with the respondent, so here is lack of accuracy. Partially of witness. Fourth is lack of interest of informant. If informant is not interested to give the information, then we cannot collect the data. Lack of uniformity. Here we have to collect the data from the third party, so here is no uniformity. This method, whenever we are using the indirect personal investigation, which precautions is required? Only those witnesses should be selected who possess sufficient knowledge about the respondent. Only those witnesses should be selected, those who have know about the person. And second is investigator should neither disbelievable completely nor completely believe the information provided by the witness. So these are the two methods of investigation. One is a direct personal investigation and second is a indirect oral investigation. There are some merits, demerits, suitability and precautions in this method. Our third method is information from the correspondent. Under this method, local agent and correspondent are appointed in different part of the area under the investigation. In this method, local person or agency is appointed for the investigation. Where this method is suitable, regular and continuous information is required, like a news agency. Area of investigation is large. Whenever the area of investigation is large, you have to appoint the person separately. They get the information, they collect the information and send to the investigator. High degree of accuracy is not required, then this method is suitable. Now, there are some merits of this method. First is wide coverage area. This method is cover the wide area because we have to appoint the persons or agency, they have to collect the data and they give the data to the informant. Economically, this method is not more expensive, suitable for specific purpose. If we are having some specific purpose, then we have to appoint the person, that person collect the data. Continuity is required. then correspondence method is very suitable. Now there are some demerits. Lack of uniformity. Uniformity means same. If we have to appoint some persons, so they give not a proper uniform information to the investigators. Danger for partiality. Here, if a local person is doing the bias with a person, so here is a degree of partiality is a more. Lack of accuracy. Here investigator himself not collect the data, so here is accuracy is less. This method is a time consuming method. So some precautions are required whenever we are using the corresponding method. Investigators should make minimum use of their own opinion. Whatever the agency or a person is given the information, directly he has to use that minimum opinion given by the investigator. The correspondent should be educated and familiar with the problem. Then this method is suitable. Fourth method is telephonic interview. Data is collected through an interview over the telephone with the interviewer. Interviewer and the investigator, they give the interview. Interviewer give the interview to the investigator, where this method is suitable. Now, whenever we are using this method, first, if the respondent have the telephonic connection, it's generally if telephonic connection is not there, then he cannot do the telephonic interview. When the data is collected in the shorter duration or immediately information is required, then this method is suitable.